Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Zones 33-34 Public Image Webinar for February. We're so excited to have you here this evening. My name is Susan Corder. I am the Rotary Public Image Coordinator for Zone 34. Also on the call tonight is Billy Black, Rotary Public Image Coordinator for Zone 33, and our amazing team here of Assistant RPICs. We have Chris, who's going to be talking tonight from Zone 33. Also from Zone 33, we have Taylor, Dawn, Hamilton, and Marie. I hope I'm getting everyone. And from Zone 34, we have Caroline, Sean, Michael, Amanda, and I'm so excited to introduce our new two incoming assistant RPICs for Zone 34, Joanne Meeker and Chad Norgard. So we all want to give you a nice warm welcome to Lights, Canva, Action. And before we get started, I want to just go through a few housekeeping items. This webinar is being recorded, so we'll send out a link to the recording following the event a little bit later this week. And something new that we started last month, if you didn't notice, we sent out some links to recordings from the January webinar in snippets. So you had short snippets, 10 to 15 minute videos where you could catch up on the content. So we'll be doing that again with this webinar, and those are great videos to play at a club meeting for a program, at your public image team meeting, at training assemblies, or if you just want to hop on and catch a quick glimpse of some content related to public image. So look for the recording link sent out later this week. And if anyone joined tonight through a Zoom browser, not through the Zoom application, if you want to join the breakout rooms at the end of the meeting, you're going to have to hop off if you're in that browser mode and join through the Zoom application. If you joined this meeting through the Zoom browser link, then you will not be able to participate in the breakouts, and we'll have 3 breakouts at the end of the session. You may have noticed recently that incoming Rotary International President Mario introduced his new presidential message for 2025-26, United for Good. You might have also noticed that it was a little bit different. There was a change in how the message is being presented. Starting in Rotary year 25-26, when Mario is president, the presidential theme will be replaced by the presidential message. This eliminates the annual logo and it moves us towards a more consistent message. And the shift is really designed more to streamline our branding and communication and ensure a unified message that's also aligned with the Rotary Action Plan. There are guidelines for the presidential message, just like there were for the theme, and you can find those in the resources tab on your Zoom app. And you can also find them in the Brand Center. So check out the guidelines. And again, just ask us any questions if you are unsure of how to use the new presidential message. Do not start using it until the new Rotary year on July 1, but I wanted to bring that to your attention. It's always an exciting introduction when we see that new theme or message come out. And now I'm really excited to introduce Chris Justice, Assistant Rotary Public Image Coordinator for Zone 33, who is going to deliver tonight's content. Chris, lights, Canva, action.
All right, Susan, thank you so much. Starting my timer, hopefully to keep myself honest on time here. And I am playing with a little bit of new tech tonight, so you guys may see some bells and whistles you haven't seen, really any of us haven't seen, and hopefully they all work right. If not, we'll all learn from it. All right, so goals for today. What I would like to do is give you an overview of video creation in Canva. Now, we have 30 minutes, and we're going to try to make a minute-long video in those 30 minutes. So elements of this are going to be broad, but we're going to do a deeper dive on, some parts of building out a video. And hopefully at the end of this, what you guys, will be able to do is apply what you've learned and make your own videos and use your own creativity to, put in place what you want to convey. I am also giving you guys an invitation to share the video template that I'm going to create tonight. So if you guys email me, afterwards and you want to be linked to the, Canva file creation, you're welcome to this template. what we're going to be building is an invitation to visit a club. And I actually asked Marshall Butler to do a quick intro video inviting people to visit his club in West Jacksonville. So that's going to be, basically the framework for what we're going to do tonight. And the way we're organizing it is in 3 chapters. Chapter 1 is going to be storyboarding and creating and collecting your assets. And of course, when I talk about your assets, those are just the elements that we're going to add to the video, which, some of those are going to be in Canva. Some we may have to bring in outside of Canva. All right, so now let's try this first piece of technological terror to see if it works right. I'm going to shift you over to my Canva screen. Okay, yay, I think it worked. So everybody should see the basically the home screen for Canva. And of course, before we start any project, what we're going to have to do is to create a design. And we are going to, in this case, be creating a video. And the aspect ratio for the video that we're creating is just going to be your normal widescreen. Now, you can choose to create your video in a format that would work better on social media. So if your intent was to create a video for Instagram, you would have, of course, changed the format a bit. All right. And so you see that what it has initially done is give you a very small video, 5 seconds, okay, which isn't going to be very useful. Now, from here, you can expand the time in the video if you want, but we're not going to really worry too much about that, right this second. So what I like to do is on any of this, I like to storyboard the video. And what I mean by that is I'm very visual, so I need to have in front of me basically a layout of what that video is going to look like. And at this point, it's okay if that layout is very general and broad. All right, so I'm going to click you over to the storyboard portion. So when I was storyboarding this particular idea, I know I wanted to start it with the little video that Marshall created. Okay, so that's going to be my first element. And the way I storyboarded, guys, just so I don't leave out any steps, anytime you can add pages to your video. All right. And you, of course, can delete pages from your video if you need to by clicking on those little dots right there. That gives you a lot more options. So I just added a few pages, and then using a text box, I added a text box, which just threw that on there. And then I just made some notes. All right. And so the notes that I made for this particular video is that I know I need a voiceover. I'm going to want some narration to go along with the video. I'm also going to want to add some music in. I think I decided that a little bit later, so I don't have a note on that, but I'm going to add some music in. I want some clips of the club in action. I want some meeting detail, where do you go for the meeting? And I wanted some overlays of some, cool elements of the club. And, again, at this point, this is extremely broad. So I am just, kind of feeling out what I want the video to look like. And you'll notice that while I'm storyboarding, I've created the video. I'm building out my little segments here, and I'm making notes on those segments. And right now, I'm not really concerned about the length of the video. I don't need it to be at 60 seconds or anything like that, because I don't know the timing of the elements that I'm going to pull into it yet. All right, so at this point, I'm going to have to start getting some elements, right? And I mentioned before that Marshall created that little video. So he sent that to me. I put it on my machine, and I need to get that into Canva. Canva makes that actually super easy for you to bring in your own elements. So if you notice on this sidebar, there's uploads. You click on uploads, and there's a couple of ways to handle it. I'm sure you guys are all really, really organized. There's not a bunch of stuff on your desktops or anything like that. You can find all your files. So when you click on upload files, you're going to get a directory, and I have a Lights Canva assets directory, and I have 3 things in there. So I am going to highlight those three things, and I'm going to click open. And then it's going to bring those elements. And you can see I've done it already once, but I just wanted to walk you guys through it. It's going to bring those elements over into Canva. Another thing that works in Canva, and depending on what operating system you're using, you can also drag and drop. So if you select a file, you can oftentimes just drag it over into the uploads and it'll put it up there. And then another cool thing that you can do, sometimes you can drag directly onto a slide, as I did there. It doesn't work all the time. It really depends on the element that you're trying to bring in, but a lot of times it will, drag right on there. So those are some, things to kind of remember as you're bringing in, those elements. And we also have a creativity piece here. All right. So on this, I've identified that I want a voiceover. I want to bring in some music. And of course, we mentioned that we're going to have some different video elements. So one of the first things that I did, and I'm not going to, walk you through this whole thing, but I wrote the script for, what I wanted the narration to read. And rather than read that myself, because a lot of times if you're, recording on, less than professional equipment, you're going to get a lot of static, you're going to get background noises. Well, with AI voice generation, you don't really have to worry about any of that. So you can end up with, really really good quality audio. So that's what I did. I wrote a script and I put it into an AI voiceover tool. And in the last couple of minutes of this particular segment, I want to highlight a couple of the things that you'll find actually within the Canva suite. And I do want to point out here, guys, that I am using Canva Pro for this. The basic Canva account, while extremely useful, is not necessarily going to have all of these tools, but the Canva Pro account has a ton. And also I want to point out that some of the tools are behind paywalls. So, kind of keep that in mind. And one of them in particular, if you're looking at the apps, I was talking about voiceovers, right? So AI voiceover, you can pull that up and you see a handful of apps that are working in Canva that you can click on to do voiceover work. Now, these are all behind paywalls. They offer you, a small amount of content that you can get for free, but you would have to pay extra. I use a different app for my voiceover stuff, my AI voiceover stuff. So I actually imported. So if you go into my uploads in audio, you will see the audio file that I imported for this particular narration, which you should maybe hear. I'm not getting it.
Dynamic speakers include Jacob Gordon.
All right, so that's the voiceover. I also brought in a music element. Now, there are a ton of music elements that you can find from within Canva. One of the things, if you go into elements, is a great place to search. So one of the searches I did was upbeat music, and it gives you a couple of pretty cool examples that you could probably use. Here's one example. Well, that's a little loud. Maybe this one. Well, maybe not that one either. But there are tons that you would find useful. If you see all, you'll see so many that you can get to. They also have an AI music app within Canva that you can put some prompts in and it will generate music for you, which is pretty exciting. And that's actually what I ended up doing on another another AI music app. I had it generate, so there's no rights problems or anything like that because I was able to generate those through AI. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and roll into chapter 2 of our talk today. And what we're going to do in chapter 2 is organize those assets, and then we're going to go into editing part 1. All right, and I kind of blaze through the rest of this part. All right, so in our organizing, well, I do want to hit this part for creating and collecting real quick. So you'll see what I did here is I dropped Marshall's video into that first little square. All right. Now remember we had these elements when we were building out our storyboard. And as you can see, that has developed over the creation. So I've expanded it up to the 60 minutes, and I'm going to start organizing and bringing in those assets. And then we're going to start, editing a bit. All right, the way I like to organize, because I think it makes a ton of sense, is to go ahead and bring in your sound, because the sound is going to kind of drive the cues in the video, and it's going to, drive the length, of course. So the narration ended up being just about spot on. You can see from the time down here that I ended up with 1 minute and 3 seconds total. And that's because, Marshall's portion took a little bit. And then I dropped the sound file in. And I want to walk you guys through how we did those things, really quickly. So with Marshall's video, I'm going to go to my upload. And we're going to find our friend Marshall somewhere. I know he's going to be under videos, not images. And I'm going to let's get rid of Marshall here, and we're going to put him back. All right. So this is Marshall's video. And
Hi, I'm Marshall Butler.
Yes, you are Marshall Butler. All right. So we're going to kind of position it on the screen in the corner, and then we're going to make it bigger. All right. Now Marshall's on the screen. Now, if we listen to this, you're going to see kind of a weird pause.
I want to invite you to attend the Rotary Club of West Jacksonville.
All right. And I appreciate Marshall. When he made this video, he left me with a little bit of room on the front and the back end to cut it, which was great. So what I'm going to do is we're going to listen to that one more time.
Of West Jacksonville.
All right. So he's stopped saying West Jacksonville right there. So what we're going to do is we're going to crop the video to that point. And cropping within Canva is really easy. So what I can do is I can grab that end and I'm going to pull it right to that point. So now
the Rotary Club of West Jacksonville.
All right. So now we have that segment built out, and then we're going to go into our voiceover. And you can see the voices have been added here already. The way I did that is from within audio. I first took my voiceover and I drug it down into here. Okay. And I don't need to do it again. So we're going to leave that as is. And so now I have my voiceover in place and I have all those elements in place. And then I wanted background music. And so the background music that I picked was this one. All right. And so we added that to the video as well. And so hopefully you guys can see how all these elements are starting to be layered together. And as I continue the editing piece, we're going to get, well, we've got the basic layout in place, and now we're going to start really placing our assets, okay? So we go into editing. All right, now all of a sudden you see, wow, this thing looks really, really populated. Well, let's talk about how we got there. And I guess to make this make the most sense, let's listen one time to the AI video script so that you guys can kind of see where I'm going with the different segments that we built out. All right, so we're going to go into uploads and we're going to play that segment.
The Rotary Club of West Jacksonville is for you. Our upcoming dynamic speakers include Jacob Gordon and Lindsay Ott from Jacksonville Downtown Vision, who join us on March 12th to discuss continuing our...
All right, so that's just a little snippet of it. So as that starts, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go from, and I'm going to pull back one layer here so you guys can kind of see how that works. All right, so
The Rotary Club of West Jacksonville, Florida, founded in June 1967.
All right, so what I'm doing here is I'm listening to the audio and I'm going to further tailor the storyboard to match the audio. And so here I set up, okay, I want to see the meeting site. Where do they meet? Because they actually have a really cool spot where they meet. So we're going to do a picture of the club where they meet. Now let's listen some more.
Meets on Wednesdays for lunch at 12:30 at the beautiful riverfront.
Okay, so I'm going to make a note, just a mental note that, all right, maybe we want a visual on screen to talk about their meeting time.
Timaquana Country Club. Whether you are looking for opportunities to serve the community, fun and fellowship, or to grow your business network.
All right, so there, I'm talking about really the three needs that are met by being in a Rotary Club, right? I'm talking about service, the opportunity to fellowship, and your business networking opportunities. So we want some images that represent that. And so I'm thinking, all right, let's throw some videos in there that, kind of represent those pieces.
The Rotary Club of West Jacksonville is for you. Our upcoming dynamic speakers include Jacob Gordon and Lindsay Ott.
All right, so this was a specific ask of Marshall wanting people to come, visit his club. And so we talked about some specifics about what's coming up, right? And I think what's cool about this particular template is that it's something that, you guys can change on, a monthly basis if you want to, or a quarterly basis. You can put in some highlights of things that are going to be happening at your club and just sort of customize them.
From Jacksonville Downtown Vision, who join us on March 12th to discuss continuing our city's rejuvenation. Our next social will take place aboard the...
All right, and now we're talking about a social. And you'll notice that something that we're going to handle in the advanced part of the editing, you'll notice that background music is a little loud. It's, it's kind of drowning out the voiceover. That's something we can adjust, and I'll show you guys how to adjust that shortly when we get into the editing 2 section.
USS Orleck, 610 East Bay Street, this coming Wednesday, March 5th.
All right, so we talk about the club social, and then we're going to go into sort of a final screen that just punctuates the video. And my, I guess my vision there was that we were just going to throw in, a club, splash screen, maybe the club logo or something. All right, so what I did was we started populating those things. So in this case, I threw this picture in. I thought it was a cool people of action kind of picture. I mean, it is at the meeting and they're speaking, but it's, Marshall giving a Paul Harris Fellow. This is a nice little collage. And these were actually 4 different pictures that I brought over, I grouped them together. And, we did a little animation. We're going to talk a little bit more about animations here in a few. This was the meeting site. Again, very neat, location. And then I pulled in a video. Now, I want to revisit assets real quick, because remember, I said that, I had done that search within Elements to, look for service. So on here, I did volunteers working, and I found that video. And so I pulled it over. And then, it's a long video. It's like 20, 30 seconds. But when I pulled it in, if you look, if I click on the video here, this shows that it's cropped. If I click on that, it shows just a little segment that I use. That video is in fact much longer, but I cropped it down to just the 3 seconds that I wanted to use in that little segment. All right, and then just kind of moving through the other elements. This, I just brought in a picture. And, I'm sorry, that's a video rather. This is also a video of business networking. These are pictures actually from the club. And this is, if you remember from the voiceover, this is going to be dynamic speakers.
And Lindsay Ott.
And you'll notice these black spaces here. Those are left on purpose because we're going to add some elements into that in a little bit. And then we went into the, I've got a little video of the battleship. They actually, there's a Navy, decommissioned Navy vessel where they're having their next social, which I found some video of that, which I thought was really cool, because it's a unique place to have a club social. So I pulled that video in. And then remember, we talked about the picture, the club splash screen. And all I did here was, if you look at this element, this is just a club logo over a white background. So that was, pretty easy add-on. All right, so we're going to go ahead and roll into editing part 2 and then downloading. All right, so what you saw here, I mean, if we play this video, it's fine. It's not, super exciting. but we want to add some bells and whistles to it. All right. And so we're going to go over into editing 2, and you're going to start to see this thing, take a little bit better shape. All right. So remember our friend Marshall, he leads it off with his little intro before we go into the voiceover and into the background music. So it's always good on things like this to put a visual element on the screen, right? I mean, the video is fine, but we can add a little bit of enhancement to keep people's attention on it. So you'll note down here, you see his intro is now split into 2 little pieces. All right, I want to show you how I did that real quick. All right, so scroll back over to Mr. Marshall, and let's listen to him again real quick.
Butler, and I want to invite you to attend the Rotary Club.
Well, okay, there we go.
Hi, I'm Marshall Butler.
All right, so when he says Marshall Butler, I want Marshall Butler to pop up on screen. So the way I did that, on any of these elements, you can split the page. So we're going to split that page. And so I'm going to let it roll with no graphic here.
Hi, I'm Marshall Butler.
And then when he hits the Marshall Butler cue, Marshall Butler is going to pop up here. So how do we do that? I'm going to go back over editing. Now let's see what it looks like.
Hi, I'm Marshall Butler, and I want to invite you to attend the Rotary Club of West Jacksonville.
All right, so now we have Marshall Butler come on the screen. It's actually really easy to get it there. All right, so remember I split the screen. So this is, this is basically where you are in the video. And then up here is where you work on it. So first part, we don't need to do anything. Second part, I want to add Marshall Butler. And so what I did, I just created a text box and did a couple of things to it. So you have animations and effects for text boxes, okay? And so if you click on effects, there's a number of different things that you can do. And I want to kind of compare and contrast real quick. So if I add a text box to this, it was nice to me and picked a good one. Let's go to kind of a default. All right, so from here, if I put in Marshall, it's kind of washed out, and the default is usually, it's going to be, it's going to be black text. So it's not going to be great like that. All right. So if you go into effects, we can outline that and we can play with our outline colors. We can really make it pop. Oop. I popped right out of it. Sorry, guys. All right. You can play around with the thickness of it, mess with the colors. And then we can also animate it. And from here, you can choose whatever animation you want to get it on the screen. All right, so we're going to leave it like I created it the first time. Let's kill that. All right, so moving on, let's look at some of the other elements for advanced editing. So this particular picture, I want the picture just to pop on the screen. So I did a couple of things to this. I added an animation to it. And if I look here, I picked the gradient animation. And you can do a ton of different things. Now, one thing that I will point out, because it'll be super annoying to you, the default on Canva is that it animates on entry and exit. That typically doesn't work well on most videos. So I would recommend that you pick one or the other. I usually just do it on entry, and then it, we can have the next portion of the video pick up its own animation. But at any rate, what I did with this slide is I chose gradient as the animation, and I added the Rotary Club of West Jacksonville. I added their logo to the screen. And I did that basically, we just pulled in the logo. I think on this one, I had to remove the background, which they made that super easy for you. They have this fancy background remover here in Canva Pro. And so what you get now with that segment is this.
Jacksonville, Florida, founded in June.
Well, let's back it up.
The Rotary Club of West Jacksonville, Florida, founded in June.
All right, so now it's starting to pick up some steam. you see I added an element there. All right, let's go to their meeting location. So remember before it was just this picture, and much like I did with the Marshall video, I wanted to add a text graphic to that. So I split that particular segment, and then I added this. So, and the way this was created, it's actually two elements. And from elements, you can just choose whatever shape you want. And I chose the square. And I think I picked that one. Yeah, of course I did because it said recently used. All right. And so from here, you can size your square. You can change your color. I typically like to use something that blends with the picture that I'm adding it to. So I like to use this color dropper a lot, because I can come in and I can kind of pick an element from here. And then from that, I can come in and add a text box on top of that. So hopefully you guys get the general idea. And so the final product was this. And so this is what we get to see.
At 12:30 at the beautiful riverfront Timuquana.
All right. So then we added those video elements. As you can see, I added text to that, and I used an animation to pull that in. See what else is exciting on this part. Oh yeah, remember we had the, on the editing part one, I just pulled the pictures over, but they didn't have any names attached to them. Okay, so I added text blocks here to identify who these guys are. Kind of did something similar with this. I split it and then brought in when they were speaking. I didn't like my original Jacksonville panoramic, so I actually added a video and this video, by the way, was available in Canva. I did not have to go find this anywhere. I just put Jacksonville, Florida in elements, and this video came up. And then I added this text block, to define what we were, where we were looking at. And then the video that we, are using for the social, I identified it as the social to kind of go along with what she was saying, and then added a few more visual elements. And you'll see I split this one a lot. And the reason being is because I wanted to create a little pop-up effect as you go through it. So we're on the boat. She's going to mention food. She's going to mention drink. And she's going to mention ice cream. All right. And so what that looks like once we start playing it.
We will have food, drinks, and an ice cream truck.
All right. And then here, I just added another text effect over the, family having ice cream. I know we're coming up on time, so I want to quickly show you guys the final product. And, it can always be improved. Every time I watch one of these, I think of something else I want to do, but let's go for it and show you what it looks like.
Hi, I'm Marshall Butler, and I want to invite you to attend the Rotary Club of West Jacksonville.
The Rotary Club of West Jacksonville, Florida, founded in June 1967, meets on Wednesdays for lunch at 12:30 at the beautiful riverfront Timuquana Country Club. Whether you are looking for opportunities to serve the community, fun and fellowship, or to grow your business network, the Rotary Club of West Jacksonville is for you. Our upcoming dynamic speakers include Jacob Gordon and Lindsay Ott from Jacksonville Downtown Vision, who join us on March 12th to discuss continuing our city's rejuvenation. Our next social will take place aboard the USS Orleck, 610 East Bay Street this coming Wednesday, March 5th. We will have food, drinks, and an ice cream truck. Families and guests are welcome. We can't wait to see you at West Jacksonville Rotary.
All right, that's what I have. If you guys have any questions on it, email me. And like I said, if you want this particular template, I am happy to share it. Otherwise, I'm going to turn it back over. I think Billy's getting it next.
I am. Thank you, Chris. That was really enlightening, and I actually could follow you. So that's a plus as well. You didn't go over everybody's head. Now, all of these slides are below in on the link below. So you can slow them down if you want to, because I'm going to go pretty quickly through them. One of the things that we want to remind you of, there are several things on Elevate Rotary Zones 33-34.org. The brand design review is a place where you can upload your graphics, and we'll help you with your compliance and review them for anything that we see that might make them pop better. PI Matters blog, new and latest updates about public image topics. Then the webinars are archived also out there, so you can see last week's webinars or even last year's webinars. Great for training your team, or now we're making them so that they might even go just for a meeting. And then we have the design template. You ask for monthly themes, special days. Recently, we did Rotary's birthday. So you could go out there, customize it with your club or district logo, and move it right along. Put it into Facebook, and it looks like you spent lots of time on it. Now, there's something new, Canva for clubs. If you have been wanting to get the advanced version of Canva and you don't qualify for the nonprofit account, we are offering the first several clubs that apply. If you are in Rotary Zones 33, 34, or a Rotary or a Rotaract club, and you want all those additional features from Canva, you just simply have to apply through elevaterotary.org, Rotary-Public Image-Toolbox, Canva for Clubs. And I know that's going to be hard to remember, but just go out there and search for it. Caroline has got it so smooth that you can find all kinds of cool stuff. And Sean's going to move it on. And now just talk about quickly, we have a new competition. It's called People of Action. The competition ends April 30th. So make sure you get out there, read the instructions, and figure out exactly what you're supposed to do, and submit your pieces for us to review. And then we have Epic. January, February, March, and April are all out there. So if you still need to do January, you can do that, but it is due February 28th. Then February, March, and April are due April 30th. But as soon as you're ready, go ahead, click on those and complete those. Please note that all of this helps you be better at the job of being public image. And who is your club public image chair? We need to have those in order to invite your club public image chairs to these webinars so that they can become more effective. So in April, the April task, I believe, asks you to put your club public image chair in for us, but you also can enter it in myrotary.org or in DACDB so that we can find it. The next webinar that we have is called AI Unleashed. It's Tuesday, March 25th at 6 p.m. You can register, and Caroline usually has that registration up after this webinar goes dark. And Caroline's given me the thumbs up. So that's the next one. And then the last one is boot camp in April, Tuesday, April 22nd, 6 p.m. And you will be able to register for that after the AI webinar. So we've got some great things coming up for you. Lots of interesting information on the website. So if you've never gone to that website, please check it out. Caroline and Amanda spent a lot of time on that website to make it look professional and to give you lots of tools to do your job. So breakout rooms, you've got questions, we've got answers. The first breakout room is for the EPIC Award. If you have any questions about the EPIC Award, timelines, who qualifies, that's the breakout for you. Public Image, Ask Me Anything is in breakout number 2. And if you want to talk to Chris Justice about what he just presented, Canva video is in number 3. So when we finish the breakouts, we're going to leave you from there. So this is goodbye and good night.